Hi, it's Cathy with inkingitup.com, and here today I'm going to show you how to make this outrageous double frame card, which on the outside doesn't look like much, but wait for it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now this has a lot of cutting, specialized cutting of all of these different areas. So I'm going to walk you through that. I'll give you some sizes of things along the way, but I'm going to cut not in the black. And the reason is that the black does not show up well to see scoring lines and everything. So I'm going to do it in a different color. So what you're going to want for pieces to start is you want a standard 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. So that's going to be your card, okay? And then you're going to have two pieces that are 5.5 by 7, okay? And I'll be showing you how to cut those. On your basic white, you're going to have two pieces that are, let me grab this one, are 2 5/8 by 5 1/4, and you're going to want two of those, okay? You're going to want a piece that is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4, one that's 2 by 3 3/4, and then a piece that is 2 by 3 1/4 inches. And this die cut is out of the Sentimental Park dies. It is this one here. So you'll need that, but you can substitute if you don't have this. Okay, so those are your white pieces. You're going to need two of this one here, and then these two, and this is all for the front of the card. And then I kept these separate in a little pack. These are the pieces that are going to come from your two identical 6 by 6 DSP pieces. So in this case, you're going to choose two of them that are exactly the same from, I used the Thoughtful Journey. So I've got a second one here like this. And you're going to make sure that as you're cutting, you're going to be cutting the left side on one and the right side on the other, okay? So that they match up like this. Okay, and then you're going to have two of the black pieces, which are 5.5 by 7, and I have this retired piece that's what I'm going to show you on using this one. Okay, so let's start with the basic white ones, and I'm going to get out my cutter. Oh, let's go back and tell you the stamps that we're using, and then we can get these out of the way. For the front of the card, I'm using this sentiment here from Heartfelt Hexagon. And for the inside of the card, both the Happy Birthday and the May All Your Wishes Come True are from Unbounded Love. The Happy Birthday is right here, and May All Your Wishes Come True is right here. Those pieces are stamped. They are stamped with, in my sample, with Blackberry Bliss and Mossy Meadow. But you'll want to take your DSP, and like this case, Blackberry Bliss doesn't work well with this one. So I think I would use maybe Cajun Craze and maybe Cherry Cobbler. I would choose something from your designer series paper instead of these colors. Okay, so let's start the cutting. And hang with me here, it's a lot, but it turns out really pretty. All right, so on the basic white, I'm going to be placing my trimmer in lengthwise. So back here at 1 1/8, and I am going to cut 1 inch up from the bottom. So I'm looking for the line here, and I'm going to bring it up to the 1 inch line there. Just like that. And then I'm going to lift it up and take it to the top, up here, and I'm going to bring it down 1 inch. Now this is measuring at 5 1/4, so I want to go down to 4 1/4. So I'm going from the top of it down to 4 1/4. So I've gone down exactly 1 inch. All right. So now I'm going to turn it and turn it sideways. And I'm going to place it in here so that it's at this 1 inch measurement. And I'm going to bring that up to that till they meet at that 1 1/8. So I'm cutting out that corner just like that so that that comes out. All right. Then I'll come over to this side and put it at 1 inch. And again, cut up until I'm at that. And I get that one cut. So it looks like this. And I'm going to want 2 of them, one that will sit this way and then one that'll sit that way on the inside of the card. Okay. Okay, here I'm going to cut the bases, and like I said, I'm going to do it on this green paper that it's a little easier to see than the black, but this is for the black pieces, and this measures 5 1/2 by 7. And we're going to put it in portrait, and I'm going to come in at 1 inch, and I'm going to cut from 1 1/2 inches up to 4 3/8 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to move it over to 1 3/4, and I'm going to cut from 3 inches to 6 inches. And then I'm going to move it over to 3 3/4. And again, I'm going to cut between 3 and 6 inches. And then finally at 4 1/2, I'm going to cut from 1 1/2 to 4 3/8, just like that. So these outer ones are between 1 1/2 and 4 3/8, and these inner ones are between 3 and 6. Now I'm going to put it in a landscape. Let me make sure I'm doing this from this direction. So the longer side here, and this is the narrower side. And I'm going to remove my blade so that I don't accidentally cut, and I'm going to just use my scoring. And I'm going to put it in at 1 1/2 inches, and that'll be right at that cut. And I'm going to score from the bottom to the cut at 1 inch. And then I'm going to go up to the top, and it's at 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to score down 1 inch, which is to the 4 1/2 inch mark. Okay. And then I'm going to move it over to 3 inches. and I'm going to score the entire thing from top to bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to move over to 3.5 inches. And I'm going to score from 1 3/4 inches to 3 3/4 inches, which will be between these two. If you can see those two, it's going to be in between those, like that. Okay. And then I'm going to move it to 4.5 inches. And I am going to score from 1 inch, which would be this cut down here, up to 1 3/4, which is this cut. So this little section right there. And then up from 3 3/4 to 4.5, which is these other two cuts between this one and this one. And then at 5 inches, I'm going to score from 1 3/4, which again is going to be this cut here up to that cut there. So from there up to there, which is 3 3/4. Okay. And then my final one is going to be out here at 6. And again, it's going to be between the 1 3/4, which is this one here, and that one up there, this cut here. Okay. So that is our cutting and scoring of the black pieces. And you're going to do this with 2 of them. Okay, and you repeat this exact same cutting pattern for the other one as well. Okay, so with the left side panel, we're going to take this piece that we cut off and we're going to put it in our trimmer. And I'm going to cut off the top 3/4 inch off the top. So I'm turning it sideways, and 3/4 inch. I'm going to take this and set that aside. And then I'm going to take this piece and cut it to 1 1/4. Okay, I've got that measurement over here on the left side. I know that seems crazy, but that little tiny piece, okay, this one over here is leftover garbage. This little piece here is going to go along the side over here. So you're going to hang on to that one. Okay, so now on this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut off that 3/4 inch top piece like that. And this time we want this side. Okay, on this side, so that 1 1/4 is what we're going to want. And so that will go over on this one. Okay, so now we need actually to bring those back. So then on this one, I'm going to cut 3/4 off the bottom, like that. And again, 1/4 inch, 1 1/4, like that. And then same thing on this one. I'm going to keep these on their sides. There we go. Okay, so I've got over here, hopefully you can see them. Okay, we're going to take this first panel and we're going to place it in the trimmer sideways with the left side, this side here at the bottom, okay? And I am going to, at 3/4 of an inch, okay, I'm going to go from 2 3/8 up to the end, okay? And then I'm going to move it in to 1 1/2, and I'm going to cut it between 2 3/8 and down to 7/8. Okay, so between 7/8 and 2 3/8. So there's a slit here. I'm going to move it over again to 3 3/4. And again, I'm going to cut between the 7/8 and the 2 3/8. Okay. And then finally at 4 1/2 inches, I'm going to cut from 2 3/8 up to the end of the paper. So go 2 3/8 out to the end of the paper. So what I've got here is 2 slots here and 2 slots there, like that. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate it so the picture is upside down, just like this. Okay. And at 7/8 of an inch in, I'm going to cut between 1 1/2 and 3 3/4, and that will cut between here and there. Okay. So 1 1/2 and 3 3/4. Okay. Not quite, almost. And usually you can kind of feel when the blade hits that other cut. So that is now, see, going to cut open like that. Okay, so now I'm going to move it over to 2 3/8. And we're going to cut between these 2 cut lines and those 2 cut lines. Okay. So there's that one, and then I'm going to pick it up and bring it up here and go between this cut line and that one. Okay, just like that. And what you'll have is this piece come out like that. And this is the panel, the left side panel for inside your card. Okay, so we're going to hang on to that. Okay, so you have this center piece left over from there. So we're going to work for this bottom one here. We're going to start with that, and I'm going to put a 1/2 inch. I'm going to just confirm my measurements. Yeah, 1/2 inch piece off the bottom. And we're going to turn it, and it's going to be 1 1/4 inches. Okay. So that piece is going to go right in there. And then on this side, now we're going to work with the top. And again, that's going to be a 1/2 inch off of the top and 1 1/4 inch there as well. And that little piece is going to go there. Okay, so this is going to go in here, but I need to get a little bit off of it, right? So I'm going to trim it to get this side, this top the same. So I'm going to bring this to about, what is this, 2 3/8. Okay. And I'm going to trim off the top like that. Okay. Oops. Have I lost you yet? I hope not. So you can see it's starting to get to the size. I just want it to be another little bit off. So again, I want it to be measuring 2 inches. Okay. So this piece will now be over here, but you can see it's too big. We're going to start breaking it up and getting smaller pieces. Okay, so this one, my first piece that I need, I'm going to make sure I give you exact right cuts. So let me measure here, is 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to measure it off the end here. Okay, and going to go there. Okay, and then I want to get rid of a 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that 1/4 inch, and then this next one is going to be 1 1/4 inches. So again, I'm going to measure out on the outside here 1 1/4 inches. And that piece will go here. And then this last little one is going to be a 1/4 inch. And I want and it's this one here, okay? So now we've got all of the pieces for the inside left, okay? Now for the front of the card, you're going to take this panel here and cut it to 3 5/8. By, let me give you the right, 1 7/8. Okay. So on this side, we've got this piece for the front. We've got these pieces and then these pieces that are going to go here and down here on the inside panel. Okay. So we'll leave those there, and I'm going to shift a little bit this way, and so we can work over on this side. Okay, so we've got this piece, we've got this piece. This piece isn't necessary, and we've already got this one and this one cut. All right. So this one, again, we're going to put, instead of the left side being at the bottom, we're going to put the right side at the bottom. Okay? And again, we're going to do 3/4 of an inch in, and we're going to cut from 2 3/8, 2 3/8 up to the top. Okay? And then at 1 1/2 inches, we're going to cut from 2 3/8 down to 7/8. Okay, and then we're going to move over again to 3 3/4. And again, between 7/8 and 2 3/8. And then at 4 1/2. between 2 3/8 and the top off. Okay, now we're going to turn it. We're going to turn it, remember, upside down. Or actually, this one's going to be right side up because we're now doing the right side panel, not the left. So, because we're going to be cutting this one here. So that's at 7/8 of an inch. And we're cutting between 1 1/2 and 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 up there and 1 1/2 down here. And that gave us that break right there. Okay, now we're going to move over to 2 3/8. And we're going to cut this little section out here between 3/4 and 1 1/2, and then from 3 3/4 to 4 1/2. So 3 3/4 to 4 1/2. And that will take that out. So now we have this panel here. Okay, that and that. Now this panel, again, I'm going to work on these two little ones here. And these are a 1/2 inch by 1 1/4. And that one will go up in there. And this one will be here, a 1/2 inch by 1 1/4. And that one will go there. Now, remember, this is going to go this way. So we're going to get rid of that little bit to make that straight, like that, okay? And this piece needs to be 2 inches high. So I've spun it around and I'm going to cut that whole thing at, and it is 2 inches right now by 3 inches. Okay, so that center section right now is 2 by 3. And the first one we're going to cut off the side here is going to be 3/4 of an inch. Okay, 3/4 of an inch, and that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. Get rid of that. And then this piece is going to be 1 1/4 inches. There. And then I'm going to split the difference on this to give them both 3/8 of an inch. Just like that. And one gets tossed and one's going to go there. Okay? So now we've got this piece left over, and that is going to be for the front as well. That's that extra panel. And that one we're going to cut down to 3 5/8. 3 5/8. Okay. By 1 5/8. Here we go, 1 5/8. All right, yay, the cutting is done, and that's for the front. All right, I hope I haven't totally lost you, but hopefully I have not. Okay, so let's get all our pieces out. Okay, so we have these two, and we have this, we have those, and we have all our panel pieces. So we can stamp our sentiments. For the front of the card is going to be the I hope your day is filled with joy. That's on this here. And we'll do that here in Cherry Cobbler. Just like that. And then happy birthday. And I think we'll do that in the wild wheat. Making sure that your tabs are going, actually they are going to go the opposite way. So that's okay if it looks like this. Tabs are to go to the outside. Okay, all right, so this piece here, this narrow one, is going to go on this basic white piece. And that basic white piece measured, let's see, 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so this one will go on here like this. And this one over here will go on to this one, which measures 2 by 3 3/4. And then this needs all these little things poked out and up on dimensions. We'll do that in a bit. All right, so now we need to start to fold our 2 panels. Okay, now I'm going to move to the black so that we can actually assemble this. All right, so I'm going to put all these out of the way here at the top. So we've got the 2 pieces where we've got the larger unscored area and then everything off to here. So you're going to start with this one here, and that is going to be a valley fold, okay? So that one here is valley and valley. Now, if you're not familiar with mountains and valleys, it means that it's going to be folded in towards you, as opposed to a mountain, which goes the other way. So this one is a mountain. This one is a mountain, okay? But this one here is a valley. And this one here is a valley, okay? This one here is also a valley. But then right next to it is going to be this mountain. Okay, so you got to kind of squeeze there to get that to go like that, right? Okay, so now this one here is a mountain. And this one right here is a mountain. This one right here is a valley. And I just use my nail to kind of push it. And this one here is a mountain. Okay, so as you can see, as I slowly kind of push this, it starts to fold like that. And you can see that we've got kind of 2 diamonds there. So then you're going to take that whole thing and kind of push it to lay flat just like that. And that's your left side. And now we're going to do the same thing over here, where you're going to do the opposite, looking at it the opposite, but the folds are still the same. So we got a valley and a mountain, right? Okay, a valley and a mountain. Okay, and then all of these were valleys in the center. And then next to it, we got a little mountain there. And then a valley there. And there is the mountain. Okay. And a mountain there. And a mountain there. Okay, so this time this one can start to fold in this direction, like that. Okay. All right, so now we can start gluing everything down. So on this side, we'll take this piece, and this is going to fit right in here, just like that. Okay, so then we'll take this one here, and this one is going to glue down around the outside. Right along like that. Let's get that straight. Okay. And then each of these little panels, you can start to see where they go. This one's going to be up here. And this one is down at the bottom. This is why you want to keep track of where each of these goes. Now, if you like the back side of your patterns as well, you can alternate what pieces go in what areas. And you may like, let me show you what I mean here. Hopefully one of these is really different. Yeah. Okay, so let's say I put this one down. Whoops, that's too long. Yep. It's about 1/8 too long, which means they all probably need trimming. I need more than that. I will correct that as I'm telling you what they're supposed to be in the video. I'll give you the right dimension so you can ignore my cutting here. Okay, so let's measure what that should be. 1 3/4. Yep, that's 2. I forgot to cut that off. Okay, so I need to cut a 1/4 inch off. I'm just going to eyeball these. 1/4 inch off, 1/4 inch off. Okay, so maybe I want to try and see if I like the look of the back. Now, in this case, this shaded spruce doesn't really match up at all, so I wouldn't do that. But some of the other DSP, you can switch it around and it looks really pretty. Okay, so this one will go here like that. And then finally, this one will go up here like that. Okay, so now we've got the left side. Okay, I've gone ahead and cut down these 3 pieces off camera, so they are the proper 1 3/4. But now we're going to put this on. So here, going back to our original, just easy 5.5 by 4 1/4. So these panels are actually going to go inside here like this. Which means, first of all, let's burnish these down so they close really, really well, because we do need that. All right. So you're going to take these two and face them up to each other like this. Okay. And holding them together, you're going to lay them in your card here like this and close around them. And I want you to squeeze this as much as you can to try and get all of it to meet out here at the edge. And it, you know, depending upon your cutting, it may work, it may be a little bit off. But you're going to kind of hold it all together like this. And then you're going to open this front panel. Okay? And you're going to put glue on just this section here. Okay? So I'm going to use liquid glue so it can give just a little bit as we close this. Again, push that down and close that up and really get that pushed in as much as I can. Just like that. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to open it up, that back panel up to this one. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Now, for mailing this card, yes, you are going to be paying additional postage. So this may be a card that you want to give to somebody in person. It may be a card that, you know, is to somebody that you're okay paying a little bit extra. But we're back here to the front of our card. And look at that inside panel. Gorgeous. Okay. So making sure that we're at the front, we're going to take these pieces here and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of these two. Put them on this one here. I want to stay away from this, too close to this outside edge because it's going to be overlapping this one. So what I want to do is place them out at the outside here. And then maybe in a little bit. Like that. Okay. About a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch on around the outside. We'll go in down here like this. Overlapping just a little bit here. And then this one will be kind of centered on the two. Just like that. And then we're going to put some bling on it. These are the Adhesive Back Pearl Trio, and I think this one will be really pretty. And we'll put one up here and one down here. And there is your Wow double frame card. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. Bye.